Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
I
Cool.
love it.
Yeah. Hey, sometimes I wonder if artists show up to these things and I'm like, oh, they do. Cool.
Yeah, they do sometimes.
They do. It happens.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah,
cool. How's it going, man? Where are you at right now?
good. I'm on the row. I'm on Music Row. I just got finished writing a song and
Hmm?
taking a break here before I go write another one. So,
Oh, you're in like album EP mode, I guess.
among other things, so many things that we're working on all the time. So that's I've got my record pretty much in the can. So,
Mm,
um, I'm just I've got a few other artists I'm writing for and with and all that stuff. So.
cool. I actually should have introduced, I guess, yourself. Like, who are you, I guess, and what kind of music do you do? I guess, Aaron, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, my name is Aaron Goodvin, and I am a country music singer, songwriter extraordinaire, or try to be most days.
Nice. So,
Um,
yeah, cool.
sorry, I was just gonna say, I was born in Alberta, Canada, in Spirit River, Alberta, and
Mm,
lived here in Nashville now for coming up on 13 years. So
13 years. Wow. Do you miss Alberta that much, or you is
I
Nashville home?
do.
Yeah.
I get back fairly often. You know, my career has been really well received up in Canada, and so I'm very blessed that I get to go home a lot. So
That's good. Yeah. Well, what part of Alberta was it? Like, was it out
Northern
upstate?
Alberta. So I was born in Spirit River, so north of Grand Prairie,
Oh, okay. You were very far north. Nice. Okay, you got
way up yonder.
nice. Yeah, I'm
That's
I'm from Winnipeg.
where your ski pants to Halloween trick or treating kind of weather. What did you say? Where are you from?
I'm from Winnipeg, so I
Oh,
can
okay.
relate to like the cold weather and everything. So,
Winter peg is what we call it. Man, oh man.
dude, it's it's a breeze, but yeah.
It's the only place in the world where when the wind blows, I cry.
What?
No, I'm kidding. But I don't actually cry, but I feel like it's so cold when the wind blows in the winter there.
Yeah, like it gets like minus when it gets minus 45, minus 46, and then you hit the wind, like it's brutal, man.
When the wind is just wide open there.
Yeah.
So it's yeah.
Well,
I've been to Winterpeg many times.
did the wind does the wind get very bad in Alberta though, like northern
I mean
Alberta?
it can't I mean I think it can, but I for whatever reason Winnipeg to me is feels colder. I don't know.
We're just gonna have beef with Winnipeg here. Okay, cool,
I
nice.
like Winnipeg a lot,
That's
actually. It's a
good.
good place.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you like how's tour been and everything. Like, how's it
Good, man.
going?
It's never ending. I feel like we've been on the same tour now for 7 years, it feels like. I mean, COVID was such a weird thing that, it's just hard to figure out where we ended and where we started again.
Mhm.
Um, but it's been incredible to still be able to do what I love to do, and which is, I love making music, I love writing music, but I've always just been a sucker for playing live, and so when
Mhm.
COVID hit, that took a pretty big toll on myself. So learned a lot about myself in those days. So
That's good. So you've been probably writing a lot since then, I'm assuming.
yes, it's been a lot of songwriting, and mostly all just songwriting. I feel like this last year picked up for us, and this year looks to be good again. It feels like I don't want to say back to where we were because I don't know. It feels like it's just changed forever, the landscape of live music and that type of thing. And I think a lot of people learned, like I said, learned a lot about themselves
Mhm.
in that time where, because it just seemed like we were just rocking and rolling and then the world stopped, so I think it's taken its toll on a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah, for myself, I'm also a photographer, so it took a toll for me for like the music industry where it's like I can't shoot or take photos of any concerts or anything. So it's like
Yeah, it's
just sitting
so
in the
weird,
dark, you know?
right?
Yeah.
So strange.
Yeah. But hey, we're basically kind of out of it. So, hey,
Yeah, it
that's
feels like
that.
we're out of it. It feels like we're we're living now in the post-COVID world, which is
Mhm.
still different than it was
Yeah,
to me, different than it was before, but we're back playing shows and that is so great.
that's
So,
good. Yeah. So you release. I got told you released a new song, and I checked it out. It's what is it? Your Time to Stay. What's the song about?
mhm.
If people haven't heard it and everything.
I mean, it's perfect segue because it's literally I wrote this song during COVID, and I
Hmm.
think when I wrote the song, like I had no idea. Songwriting is a really funny thing because sometimes your intent to write a song and what that song is going to be about ends up being about something different than what you thought. And then, but more importantly, because you're there and your soul is there and present, you kind of write stuff. I mean, I wrote this song, I feel like about my life, and I didn't even really know that I did
Hmm.
it until about 2 or 3 weeks later when I was listening to it. And I was like, oh man, this is so my song. I think when I first wrote it, I thought it was going to be like a big song for somebody else.
Hmm.
And and I think it has that quality. It's still, I think somebody else could have sang it and it would have been great. But I also like I'm so glad I did record it. This song is literally about going through COVID and my wife, I often joke that my wife had a really hard time mostly because I was home.
Hmm.
And that was
Yeah.
really hard. It was
Yeah.
really hard on her. I can be a lot.
How bad?
So
How bad can you be, Aaron?
oh, it's a lot. I'm a lot. I can be a lot. But I joke about that, but like a lot of that was true. Like I was home, I didn't really know what to do with myself. And in that time I kind of found out, I've learned that, I think a lot of people learned what their relationship was really like with alcohol during COVID and I learned a lot about mine and I had to make a lot of big changes.
Hmm.
And there was a time where my wife was like not even at the house, and things were not going very well. And um, so when this song came up for me again, when it came time to record, it just felt like the right thing. And the record turned out so great, such a great record. I feel like it'll stand the test of time.
Hmm.
And I'm so excited about this song, and I just love that we played it live for years. Well, I say years, but I don't know if it was that long, but feels like that long because we've been kind of it's been a little while since we've had a project out, but um, this song just seems to have it, whatever that is. We've got a lot of high hopes and it's doing a lot of amazing things for us already. And I think like it'll continue to grow and continue to be a big song for us.
That's good. Was it when you went into the studio, was it like the idea of like let's execute this idea for the song, or was it just spur of the moment, like you created it just for the sake?
Yeah. We First I took it to one of my really good buddies because I wanted it to be a little left of center in the beginning.
Hmm.
I didn't want to do the same thing over and over. I wanted to. So I brought one of my really good buddies, Seth Alley, in on it, and he came up with a lot of great ideas for it. And then when we finished kind of the first kind of draft of what that was, because it's a lot different than what you hear. Um, Everybody had heard it and was like, "This song is so much bigger than we thought." And
Hmm.
so then we went back into the studio, and me and Chris Utley cut it, and we just wanted it to be more kind of tailored towards the radio and popular kind of sound and listening, and so we went back in and recut it at that point, and it turned into what you hear now. So it was kind of in a way, it was kind of a growing process, which was actually a cool way to cut it because
Hmm.
you kind of take what you were missing before and what you maybe didn't get to put in there the first time, and that kind of stuff, and
Yeah.
sort of creates what it is now. So
Cool. I like it a lot. It's been on my repeat the last couple days. It gives like that old country vibe, like Kenny Chesney and everything that I
love
hear
that.
it.
I love that. That's the stuff I grew up listening to, so I'm always
Mhm.
happy to hear that.
Yeah. I'm assuming fans like it, right?
They love it,
That's
man.
good.
It's so crazy. When we've been playing it live, and the way we would do it live is kind of a part of the show where we sort of break it down, and I just sing it, and my drummer and keyboard player sing the courses with me, and we do like a 3-part harmony thing, and then
Ooh.
just play it with a keyboard. So it's very, piano heavy when we do it live.
Mm.
But even since we started playing it live, we had so many people come up to us and be like, or slide into my DMs and say, like, holy man, we heard that song, and you were like, there's a couple stories that jumped out. One was like, we heard this song and we were about to break up, and then you played this song, and we sort of looked at each other and we're like, we got to keep trying, we got
No
to keep this
way.
thing going. And so, like, anytime like you hear something like that, you're like, oh, it's more than just a catchy song that people want to sing along to. It's a song that actually means something, and maybe changes, somebody's story, maybe changes how people are reacting to the life that they're living now, and maybe there's a way that they can change that. And anytime you can keep a couple together with the song, I think you're doing a good job. So
It has a message, and I guess it's getting perceived well from, I guess, everyone in the community and that. So yeah,
very well, yeah, it's pretty amazing, to be honest. So
nice. I guess it's going to be on that EP that I was told you're working on next
yeah,
year.
we've got an EP that's coming out, probably quarter 1 of next year.
Hmm.
And yeah, we sort of have something for everybody on this thing. I feel like, I have a couple songs on there that are really feel good stuff. We got Your Time to Stay on there. And got a song on there. I think we're gonna title the record Drink in Hand,
Ooh.
which is a song that I wrote about my relationship with alcohol. This record's been more personal, I think, than I've ever really gotten. I think you sort of get so caught up in trying to have hits and trying to have, that you sort of cater a little too much to what, everybody expects or wants from you. And so
Yeah.
Your Time to Stay and Drink in Hand are very personal songs to me. And so I'm super happy to get these on the record,
Hmm.
and just show people more of who I am if they didn't already know. So
Nice. Is it sometimes hard to writing new material sometimes, or are you just like lackluster, or you're like, yeah, I got
I'm
this?
just kind of like a I just kind of churn them out. I
Hmm.
think, like, the one thing about being a Nashville kind of songwriter, and and I've been in this world now for um probably about 11 years of
Mm-hmm.
the well, yeah, probably about 11 years of the I've been a staff songwriter. um I now write for myself, which is really interesting. And I don't have a publisher right now, and it's
Mm-hmm.
been really interesting because I've I've found that I think I've made some really good decisions for myself, because where I was kind of expecting other people to make decisions,
Yeah.
now I'm sort of doing it on my own, and I'm really enjoying it. And I think publishing is kind of a dying thing anyway. It's more about who you know and who you can get your songs to. And so for me, it's like I've lived in a community that writes songs every day. And I went on the days that I do write, I try and write twice a day. I've got 2 writes today. So and I always try to do that, just because when I get in a groove, I feel good and I want to keep going. Um, so I've written a ton of songs, and I think I just sort of churn them out, and then I sort of see how I feel about them later, and if I need to up them at all. But I don't really have trouble writing songs, I don't think.
Nope.
And I just try to go in and do the best job that I can do. So
Nice. Cool. How come you're going about with an EP, not like a full entire record, do you think?
yeah, I think, I think the plan is to do, just in the world of content and
Yeah.
how fast we got to crank it out. I feel like we're leaning more towards, let's do more EPs than just
Mhm.
one full CD every 2 years or whatever it
Yeah.
is. So we're sort of we're trying to get into that mindset of being able to, if they were, put it this way, if they were like, hey, we need to make another record, I'd be like, cool. And I'd
Yeah.
probably be ready for it. I write a lot of songs. So I'm like ready to go. I'm like, I got the next 6, let's go.
Nice.
So, and I'm trying to cut some stuff as I go along this time too, just because, like I say, the demand for content and staying on top of that it's almost overwhelming. So
Yeah.
it's we're just trying to get in the habit of cranking them out. So
Yeah. It's honestly the last couple years, it's been hard for artists that I've talked to, like trying to get between like streaming platforms, social media, content. Like it's hard. It's hard to put out this much material in short amount of span.
yeah, and it's not for the faint of heart, and
Yeah.
it's and a lot of people are sort of going at it alone in that, they've got to make all this stuff happen for them.
Mhm.
I've been really lucky to live in Nashville and I can call up really close songwriter friends and go write a hit, but
Yeah.
it's like for anybody who doesn't have that, it's so difficult, because they got to get in and they want to write the song and then they, my wife and I have a production company where we work with kind of newer artists or artists that are just kind of looking for a level up, and it's really hard for them because they don't have the relationships. They haven't lived in this
Mhm.
town. They can't just call and or they don't have the big kind of machine of a label behind them setting them up doing all this stuff, and so they're just kind of everybody's just kind of on their own, and it can get very overwhelming. There's a
Mhm.
lot as an artist. There is a lot to do, and it all needs to be done yesterday. So very stressful.
Nice. Are you invested in like TikTok or Instagram with those reels and everything?
Yeah, I mean, I do them. I mean, I don't do them as much maybe as I should.
Hmm.
But it's on my to-do list every day. It's just like sometimes I don't have the hour to sit there and edit a video to get it out. It's crazy what it takes. So and it's not like it's cheap to just pay for somebody to do that either. So
Yeah.
it's definitely a challenge. I try to post as much as I can.
Mhm.
If I run out of time, I try not to be too hard on myself to not get something up. So
Yeah. It's fine if you miss a day. It's not gonna
yeah,
kill. It's not
exactly.
gonna kill you. That's what I tell people always.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that.
Cool. I believe you're touring parts of Canada, of course. How
Hmm.
in a couple weeks? Are you, I guess you're touring right now. I assume. And how's that going?
Great. It's really great, man. Like we love being out there.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing more that we all love. Me, all the guys in the band, everybody on like my team. Like, um, if we could just be out there full time, if I could have a tour bus and my wife and my baby and all that, that's what I would do. I
Mm-hmm.
I love it so much. I love connecting with people. I love meeting new people, saying hi to friends that I've known for a long time. I've got an incredible support up in Canada, and they totally got me in my music, and it's so exciting. So we're especially super excited. We've got at the end of November, we've got some dates. We got Calgary and Edmonton, which are two. I mean, I think I've played those two cities more than any other cities I've played. Maybe it's because I'm from there, but I love going back and seeing everybody. But also right after that, we're going to the East Coast. So we start in Halifax, then go to St. John's, and then to Charlottetown, and then to Moncton. And I've never been to Newfoundland, so I'm so
Oh.
excited to go. And we even have a day off in between before we have to get back to Charlottetown. So I think we're going to stay on the rock, as you will,
Mm.
and check it out a little bit. But man, it's I feel like Lonely Drum was a huge hit over there, and I haven't done the time I need to do over there and meet all those people. So I'm so excited to get out there. Like ticket sales are going really well. It's really awesome to see, and um, we just like this is what we love to do, and we're gonna bring it. So it's gonna be a lot of fun.
That's awesome that you're going over to East Canada because most artists just don't go to East Canada.
I've been begging my people since Lonely Drum was a hit,
Mhm.
so since 2017, 2018, I've been like,
Wow.
let's go to the East Coast. I have been over there. I've done Cavendish a few times.
Mm,
I have played Moncton. I've played Fredericton. Like I've played some cities over there. I've done some festivals, but
mm.
I haven't had my own tour that's gone over there. So I'm so
Nice.
excited that we were able to make this work. So
Cool. I hope you enjoy it because I always hear stories from so many artist bands. They're like, it's so beautiful there. It's so,
yeah.
yeah, you're gonna
I
love it.
just can't wait, man. I'm
Yeah.
so pumped. I feel like those are my kind of people.
Yeah, like East Coasters
I
are.
don't know why. It's just like, and anybody I've met from there, I'm like, I'm on the same level as them. So I just can't wait, and I think they have a love and a zest for life over there. And I just can't wait to be all up in it.
Yeah. Are you going like late November or is it like when
Late November.
late
Yeah.
November?
So like
Oh, it's gonna be yeah.
20, yeah, it's gonna be cold. 27th through 31, I think.
Okay,
So
so yeah, you might get pretty. I don't know how cold it gets in the. I don't
I
think it
don't
gets that
know.
cold, but
Probably be a bunch of snow, I'm sure. So yeah.
bring a winter Parker just to be sure. But
Yeah.
hey, maybe
Yeah.
you'll come back to Winnipeg one day. I don't know, but
Oh
hopefully.
gosh, that's another place we get a lot. We've got a lot of great fans out in Manitoba, and
Mhm.
it's sometimes the challenge is like, where do we go and play that it can make the most sense for us, like
Right?
that's kind of always the issue,
Yeah.
so it's and I've worked really hard in my career, and I've never want to skip over any town.
Yeah.
Like ever. I'm
That's
like, we gotta
great.
stop there and go to, but it's like sometimes it's just like it's circumstances. And I've
Yeah.
I've tried to explain on my social media a few times, like, hey, this is kind of how tours work and this is how it happens. It's not that we're choosing not to come to you.
Hmm.
It's that, there's promoters and there's agents and there's these people that are involved that are trying to make it all make sense. And for me, it's best if I let them do their job and
Yeah.
I do mine. So
Exactly.
so
You're not
it's
that. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So it is kind of what it is, but I know that we will eventually get back to Winnipeg.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get back there this next summer. That would be
Yeah, that'd
the
be cool.
goal.
Uh, I think more people are starting to realize like there's booking agents, there's these different people in the party that are
Yeah.
involved with it now, which is nice. And
Like if it was my own tour
mhm,
that I was self-funding, if
yeah,
I could,
you could.
then I would be there,
Yeah, exactly. No hard feelings for that, Aaron. Like I know that you'll come here eventually, and I know that for a fact,
Definitely.
and
I love
people know
Winnipeg.
that.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's get backtrack. What made you want to get into country music, though, Aaron?
Yeah, I just loved it. I was
Mhm.
12 years old when I found out not everybody in the world loved country music,
Hmm.
and I was heartbroken. I thought just everybody loved it. Like I grew up around my parents, my uncles and aunties. We'd all go camping or find any excuse to get together, and the one common theme with all of us was just music. Like we all loved music, and they all played guitars and sang, and that like so I grew up like my childhood was like me getting to stay up late because I was watching my uncles and aunties playing and singing and my mom and dad, and that nobody ever did it for a job or
Hmm.
work. They did it because they loved it. And so I grew up like listening to my, Uncle Dale play Only Daddy That'll Walk the Line, and my dad playing Chris Christopherson, and my auntie playing the Judds, and so that's just what I grew up with. So
Mhm.
I always just loved it. I thought that was the only type of music. I didn't really know there was any other music. I
Oh,
grew up in a very small town.
okay.
So I was quite sheltered, but I just loved it. And so when I was 13, my mom, 12 or 12 maybe, uh or I shouldn't say my mom and dad, but Santa Claus brought my sister and I a karaoke machine. And so we got that karaoke machine, and just after that, all we would do is sing. We would just be singing in the living room every day. It
Mhm.
felt like, we'd get all the new karaoke CDs, and then we'd get all these country ones, and I would sing all these songs, and so like I started loving that part of it, and then I think when I got on stage the first time was when I was kind of like sold, like
Mhm.
I was nervous as all get out, but I loved it. Like I played the song, everybody clapped, and I got on stage and I was like, that was all. And for me, I think like my energy, I'm very ADD and um, ADHD, and not to mention, an alcoholic, so I'm very selfish. I loved it. Like I loved the way it made me feel. I loved like everything. I was like, oh, this is awesome. So I was like, I need to do this for a living. And that's what got me into it. I totally just grew up on it. So
Nice. You've done so much since then. Like you've done like you got nominated for CCMAs, you've done Junos, you've done so much, man. Do you be like sometimes you're like, dang, I did that.
sometimes
Sometimes?
not enough for sure. I think I think one of the things for me that has kind of always been a thing is I don't know if I never let myself feel like I made it, quote unquote,
Hmm.
or or whether that's a good or a bad thing, but I've always kind of felt like a little bit of an underdog. Whenever I would go in competitions, like the one competition I went in like 7 times, I was like, I'm gonna win it this year, and I didn't. And I kept going and I kept going. And then finally I didn't win, but they just like let me win. They gave me like
Oh,
second place,
okay.
and they were like, they gave me everything the first place guy got because everybody just thought we bullshit won. Like
Yeah.
they thought it was the tie, I guess. I don't know.
Hmm.
And but like my whole career has just kind of been that work mentality, and I just like that kind of never go away thing, you know.
Yeah.
And my dad, my dad was always kind of instilled in me that, like, the reason he was the best carpenter, which I don't know that he is, but and I don't, it's not like there's a big carpenter competition that you can figure that out, but he was like, I'm the best carpenter, and I was like, why? And he's like, I just outlasted everybody else. And I feel like that's been a lot of my um that's been in a lot of my like DNA, and the way I
Hmm.
work and the way things are for me is like I don't go anywhere,
Yeah.
and I'm not going anywhere. And I've kind of always had my foot on the pedal in that regard. And so on anything that I do, I never feel like I feel like the awards and the stuff like that, like it's amazing that your peers vote for you, and and like, I've been up, and I think I've won Male Artist of the Year at the Country Music Alberta Awards for 4 years, which is like crazy
Hmm.
to me. But I think that thing is a testament to that, and I think people recognize that I haven't given up and I'm still going, and I love what I do. So I'm a lot of it is like that. In that regard, I've made it. But as far as like where I want to end up, I don't even think I'm there yet. So I always kind of
Yeah.
just feel like an underdog. So
Yeah, you're still trucking. You're still going. You're
still
going
rocking.
strong. You got so many years left, Aaron. Like,
I
dude,
know.
yeah.
I know.
I don't think a lot of
Now
people
I'm a
realize
dad,
that.
so I get to now I'm a dad, so I get to be that guy everywhere I go. Just dad,
You can tell so many dad stories. That's the
I
beauty
have so
part
many
about
dad
that,
stories and the dad jokes for days. I
dude.
love dad
What's your
jokes.
favorite dad joke that you've
Oh
said?
man, I don't know. I just the ones I come up with today, like
Mm.
I just like I drive my wife nuts with that stuff. Like my favorite the latest one that I like is like, now my wife can't get mad at me when I tell her to call me daddy. That's She can't, because before, if I said it, it was weird, but now I'm a dad, so I get to say
It works.
it.
Does your family like very much heavily support you with the music when you first started, or was it like a little
Yeah,
hard with that?
yeah. I don't know that I'd be here without him. My my mom was very instrumental early on. Um, like if I go to a competition
Mm.
and I didn't get further than what she thought, she was sending VHS tapes to the people who run it and be like, "What are you looking for? Like this is, and then like she made a lot of things happen for me early on, and was a
Nice.
big believer. My dad was always out working. We never had a lot of money growing up, so my dad would go to work and he'd make as much as he could so that I could go sing somewhere or go. They're truly amazing people. And honestly,
Mm.
like I don't lie about this. If there's anywhere within like a 10-hour driving radius of like where they live in Edmonton and I have a show, like they will be there. Like they are
Nice.
still to this day very supportive. And they love coming to the shows and seeing how people react, and then reporting back to me, and then they're just as much a part of it as they were before. It's pretty amazing. I try not to take it for granted. I think sometimes that kind of stuff can probably get annoying to a lot
Hmm.
of but it's like, I wouldn't be here without their support. It's definitely not annoying to me. This is also their life and their story, and part of their, so it's hard, it'd be crazy to take that away from them, and they deserve to go to these shows as much as I get to go play them. So.
That's good. I love that. What's the best piece of advice you ever gotten while doing music so far, Aaron?
Oh man, so much advice.
You can do
My
it short and
favorite,
sweet. It's fine.
so much. No, I have no. It's gonna be another hour. I I got one of my favorite things that uh Bobby Pinson told me. He's a big songwriter here in town that I one of the reasons I moved to town. One of my favorite songwriters. And he told me God's gonna put your songs where they go. And I always remembered that because I think a lot of us get so caught up in who needs this song and what should I do with this, and the bottom line is like, if it's available when that song, when you go to record it, if you know whoever finds it and they go record it, like that's,
Mhm.
we don't have control over that
Yeah.
sometimes, and I always loved that advice. um I have so much advice. I still remember being like 16 years old and Shane Miner telling me, just keep hitting the record labels, even if they don't respond. Just stay on people. That was one of the biggest things. Like it's not about you. Just stay.
Yeah.
It's not something you did or said. Just stay on them. And that
Hmm.
is like I can be a little bit of a bulldog, which God bless all the people who I work with, and because like I am, if they're not doing it, I'll do it. Like I'm
Yeah.
not scared to, I was like, I don't like, I'm just that guy. It's just I've always been that way when it comes to like getting gigs and go, like I will call people, I'll call them every day,
Mm.
I don't care. So I'm just very on people, and so like, and my people love me and hate me because of that, I think.
I love that.
But but it's always, it's not anything that I'm saying against them. I'm just making sure that, things are moving, and
Mm.
I've just always kind of been that way. So, um, I'm sure I'll think of more advice later and be like, darn, why didn't I say that? But
Okay.
those are a couple of them.
That's good. Honestly, that's really good advice. Like a lot of people don't realize, like in this industry, you gotta tell people like you gotta hog like tell like keep on bugging them because they honestly
Yeah.
forget. A lot of people
You have to
do.
stay on people. Well, and I think the biggest thing is like people forget, or the circumstances
Hmm.
didn't work out at that time. But I think a lot of times what I've had to learn over the years is the story that I'm telling myself in my head is probably not the truth.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's good to find out what that truth is so that I don't have to think about it,
Yeah.
anymore.
No,
So
I totally get that. Well, what do you want the people to know about you, Aaron? Shout yourself out. Tell the people what's going on, new
yeah,
and
yeah.
everything.
Just like come follow me. I have the cutest daughter in the world. If you only follow me for that I totally understand. She's adorable. Her name's Eloise. She's the best.
Mm.
You can find me on like Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Spotify. Follow us on there. That's important. Anywhere. I'm very interactive. I'm always the guy behind my pages. Like I don't have anybody for that. I've always been very I take my fans very seriously, if you will, and they're all friends of mine. So come be a friend and hang out and join the journey. And I'm really excited about this year. I think it's going to be our biggest year yet. So.